it makes sense to me that this experience has gotten you more connected to yourself on an intimate level, because you're moving through fear and challenging those fear experiences,
Right.
you know?
Podcast Studio Austin. I had to make sure I said it right. Did I say it right? We got it. All right.
Yeah.
Right outside Awesome Gym, Squatch Frontier Fitness. If you guys are in Austin, please check out Squatch. One of the dopest gyms in Austin for sure. But we are lucky because we have a return guest, one of my favorite people on planet Earth. There's never a time, I think, when I talk to you that I don't feel better walking away. Not many people have that effect on me. So always appreciate your energy. Always appreciate everything about you. Miss Danielle, how are we doing?
What an intro, guys.
Was it good?
That was great.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
you did
go.
great. No, I feel the same. Very similar feelings. I'm good. Yeah, life is beautiful. I'm happy to be here. Grateful to have a conversation with you.
Life is lifing right now?
Life is lifing.
So what's new? What's changed since the last time we sat down and talked? I'm sure a lot.
Yeah. So I'm a completely different woman today. I will tell you that. I mean, that's the hope, right? Is that we just continue to evolve. I don't want to be the same person I was.
You were already one of my favorite and best people
She was
I know
amazing.
back then.
She was amazing, right? But
You on steroids now?
yeah, I just have dropped more into who I am, right? There's been these layers, and I think you can kind of see the film of that too on a physical level, right? It's like I was blonde, I had eyelashes, I was pumped full of filler, right? And it was just like, no, all of those things are fine and great, right? But it was
Your hair
just
wasn't curly either, right?
yeah, this is my natural hair.
No shit.
Yeah. So I just kind of went back to my roots, you know? And so it happened on a physical level, but it happened, you know, more profoundly on an internal level. So
What was it? What was the catalyst for this growth? Like what happened?
I mean, I was joking with somebody the other day, like, I don't know anything but deep. That's just, I feel like I came into this world with like a deep presence of like, I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to know what your favorite color is. I want to know what your deepest, darkest secrets are. I want to know what makes you uncomfortable. I want to know, you know, that's just like who I am at my core. And so with that comes like my own deepening, right, within myself. And so I think it's always been happening. I just have taken it just deeper and deeper as the years go. But yeah, I mean, there's many experiences that have been the catalyst. Like, you know, I came on here, I was very open about my eating disorder and how that like played out in my life and how, you know, that played such a role in my becoming too. And so I had an even deeper experience with that where, you know, we kind of chatted the other day about how there's, you know, I think the way that we are set up in this matrix is to keep people really confused, right? And it keeps people out of their intuition and our bodies and everything that we are, our intuition, our mind has everything that it needs, right? I actually don't need to go seeking out information. If I can get still enough and quiet enough and go inward, my body will tell me exactly what I need, right? And but we're programmed to consumerism, right? It's like, this is the next thing, you eat like this, do this, don't eat that, eat, you know, workout, do this workout, right? And so I got really confused, like, you know, and it took me to this place where I was on this meal plan where I was eating like 1,100 calories a day. I lost a bunch of weight, and somewhere, and it was very elusive, right? Somewhere along the way, I had subscribed to this idea that like, if I get to this number on the scale, then I'll be happy, right? And I did. And I was the most miserable I had ever been in my entire life.
Is that common, do you think, amongst many women?
Absolutely. I think it's common against with women and men, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just usually the opposite with men, right? It's like, I need to be bigger.
Yeah.
Women are like, I need to be smaller, you know? And so...
It's funny how that works.
Right? It's so crazy. And so, like... I was dealing with a lot of external things that I felt that in my life that felt out of control, and like subconsciously started to latch on to this, you know, this other piece over here. And then I just hit another emotional bottom. I think life is literally a series of surrenders, you know? And so I just came to the next surrender, and it brought me to my knees. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of putting a Band-Aid on this matter. It's, I want to heal it at the root, at the core, right? I want to heal the relationship with my body. I want to heal the relationship that I have with food, because at that point I'd created so much fear around food that I was having panic attacks going out to eat with people.
Yeah.
And it was like I woke up and was like, who am I? Like, how did this happen? You know? So that was the catalyst. one of many, but
It's funny. I always reference a conversation that you and I had in the gym one day. And it's funny. For those that don't know, for those that haven't seen Danielle's first episode, I can vividly remember sitting on the couch, and at the time I was a runner, and I was afraid to get in the gym because I was afraid I was going to go in there and look dumb, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I got on Instagram. It was before I was even really I didn't do content. There was none of that. And I saw you at the gym. And that was my initial first kick in the ass. Was like, damn, I got to get in the gym. Stop being scared. Stop doing that. And then, over the years, then you and I ended up crossing paths again, actually in the gym. We're working out at the same gym. And I reference a conversation all the time when I'm talking with people about the gym and kind of the double-sidedness of it. And I can remember sitting there and you and I were talking, and I believe our topic of conversation was that I didn't know at the time that women skip upper body day, like men skip leg day. And we were talking about that, and then I was asking you, and I was like, well, what do you notice like about a guy? And you were like, well, legs and ass for sure. And I was like, really? And I was like, that's the thing that every dude's skipping, and they don't know that, and every dude's thinking. And then you asked me what it was, and I believe I said it was the grind. Like, that's what I noticed about people is the grind. But throughout the course of that conversation, at one point, I remember sitting there saying, like, whatever I said was either I think I said I felt fat that day. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, I feel like I'm just a fat piece of lazy shit right now.
Yep.
I leave there, went to the other gym where I trained people at, and I was walking in the door, and the woman at the desk told me that I looked small that day, that I'd been losing weight. And I went from I'm a fat piece of shit to, oh my God, I'm a skinny little bitch within the matter of less than an hour. And I was like, that is the craziness sometimes. The gym doesn't do that. That's my internal brain. But
100%.
That's the unhealthy relationship we start having with the exercise thing and the food thing and the this and that I need to be like this. And my problem is like I rarely ever take a step back. I'll always compare myself to people that are more farly advanced. And in one way, it's really good because it keeps me motivated. It burns the fire. It makes me feel insecure. So I go even harder at it. And I do all these things, but I don't ever take a step to like take a look around and be like, you know what? Like, I'm doing pretty fucking good. I just focus on I'm not there. I'm not there.
Yeah.
And that's not good. That's not healthy.
Right. Well, and that's to your point, like that's the ego. The ego is this thing in every single one of us, right? That thinks it's keeping us safe, right? But the truth is that we are actually one with God. We are expressions of God. We are extensions of source energy, right? Source creation. And the ego needs logic. It needs to keep me small so that I don't tap into that power, which is that I'm whole, worthy, and complete right now. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to be anything for that to be true. It is just true, right? And so the ego is constantly like, but look at that person. You're smaller than they are. Look at that person. They're more successful than you are. Look how many followers they have, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it's trying to keep me right sized so I don't tap into my actual power, which is, I don't need to be a certain size. I don't need to look a certain way. I don't need, what we are attracted to in other people is their light.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The body's the least interesting thing about somebody, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But my mind tells me otherwise. But not for me, right? That can't be true for me.
Right.
It might be true for everyone else, you know?
We always think we're unique.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Let me ask you a question. How long sober you got now?
10 years.
10 years. Double digits.
Crazy.
Did it feel any different when you went from 9 to 10?
No.
It's all just the next day, right?
Totally. Yeah.
How has your, like, where did it start off at when you first got sober to now? Like, how has your relationship with God come about and changed?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. It has changed so much. I'll just tell a quick story of kind of where it started for me. Like, I didn't grow up in a family of people who went to church, or at least my immediate family. But I come from people who are Pentecostal, who are like brimstone and fire. You're gonna burn at the stake if you cut your hair, if you wear pants or whatever, right? And so my mom kind of swung hard the other way. So I didn't really have like a conception. I didn't ever doubt that there was a God or a power out there, but I didn't have like a relationship or a conception at all. And so in some ways I feel like that was really good for me, because then it was just like this open field of like whatever, I wanted it to be. When I first got sober, I feel like I clung to church because it was like the only place where I knew where you could find God,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not going to dig into Christianity, but I think that is the delusion, right? Is that like you have to go to church, you find God in this thing, right? And what I've learned along the way is like God is in me. There's nowhere I have to go. There's nowhere I have to be. It is just my presence that is an expression of God, is the connection with God, you know? So it started there, and then I started to feel like there's no fucking way God believes this shit. You know what I mean? There's no way God is anti fill in the blank, right? And some of the things they were saying, I was like, it didn't resonate with me. And then I read this book called Conversations with God, and it blew my mind because it was this guy had channeled this conversation with God and wrote a book, series of 3 actually. And it was saying everything that I always believed, you know, basically like, y'all are missing the mark here. Like, God is not man, God is not woman, God it just is, right? And God doesn't hate gay people, and God doesn't hate, you know what I mean? Like all of these things. And I really started to dig down into like the mystical views of God. And you know, throughout the years, like I've lost faith at times, right? I think that there have been moments in my life where I'm like, okay, yeah, do I believe that God has kept me sober? Absolutely, that is a miracle. There's no doubt. But do I believe that God is going to take me past where I am here and now, right? Fill in the blank, right? For me, sometimes it was the early stages of my eating disorder, right? I was just so in it, and I did not think that God was going to take me past here. And I wouldn't have said that out loud, but that's how I felt, right? And so it's just been a journey of like moving through that fear of like, God's not going to catch me. God's not going to change this thing in my life, and just staying persistent. And my relationship has become this very intimate relationship, like talking to a friend, you know? When I have people I sponsor, mentor, or whatever, they're like, what do you do in the morning? And I'm like, do I just sit down and I talk to God? You know?
Yep.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
We hang out, we chill. I cry sometimes. I tell him what I'm afraid of. I tell him what I'm grateful for. Like, it's gotten way less complicated over the years, you know?
Man, we have a very similar outlook and experience with that. I was having a conversation with a very good dude, you know, and everybody has their own views of God and this and that, but we were talking, and he's definitely you know, I think I would say Christian. I don't know if he's Catholic or what he is, but he was sharing his views, and he was like, yeah, you know, and I respect everybody's views. They can have them. It's America. That's what makes us great. But he was like, yeah, I don't you know, I don't think gay people should, I don't think they should have kids. They shouldn't be allowed to adopt. And I was like, what? I was like, why? And he was like, well, that's just not the way God wants it. And I'm like, hold on a second, dude. And I was like, so you mean to tell me that you think God's sitting up there on the cloud? And I was like, you have this poor child that was born into an abusive home. They're being molested. Their mom smokes crack, fucking whatever. And they get put up for adoption. And I do have a very good, very, very good friends of mine, gay couple, have adopted a child like that. Found out they had a sister, went and adopted the sister, and now they live an incredible fucking life. And I was like, so you think God is sitting up there and he's like, no, that's a no-no right there. Take him back to where he's getting, like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's what you really believe? But, you know, I too, like, you know, the recovery is cool because I've gone through the stages of it where it's like, first it's hardcore 12 steps, and then you start building on it, and then running, the gym, church, God, whatever, and you just therapy, meditation, build on it. And, you know, I felt this pull back to church and was doing all that, and I went for the message, but everything I was hearing distracted me from the message, because we're talking about tithing, and we're talking about needing a new church, and I love those people, and they're great people, and I hope they get their church and all that, but that's just not why I was there. I wanted to be closer to God. And so I start listening to my little prayer app, and I start having conversations with God every morning, and actually taking the time when I'm done talking to God to sit there and listen. And people can believe what they want, but all of a sudden I start picking up on things in conversations or songs I'm listening to or movies or things, and I'm like, this dude's talking to me. Like, these are messages, clear cut. You might not believe it, but to me, they're directions and messages, and it's paying off pretty good as long as I continue in that direction. But I've never felt closer to God than now. You know what I mean? and by a lot of people's standards, I'm not going to church, or I'm not this and that. But and I had a very profound thought the one day as I'm sitting there talking with God, and I believe God is helping people. Like, I believe that's what God is here in this world. If anything you want to read in the Bible and all that, what did he do? He went and he shepherded to people, the homeless, the prostitutes, and you know what I mean? And there's a quote that I keep using, and he said, the Bible says something like, the way you treat the less of us is the way you treat me, or there's something along that. And like that hit me in the heart. And all I know is, ever since my life has been set out to help people, God has provided for me abundantly. Yeah. Abundantly. Yeah. And so it's like, people go through these everyday problems, or they're this, and they're in their shit, and they're this and that. It's like, are you helping people?
Yeah.
Help some people. Watch how fast that shit turns around real
100%,
quick.
100%.
And people might disagree with what, because I'm not reading the Bible every day, or this or that. But all I know is, every time I get around the God aspect where man is involved and man's hands have been in it, is where I'm out.
Yep.
And that's just how I personally feel with it.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it's true, right? Like, I was just talking to a girl earlier who's been in her shit and is uninspired. And I'm like, girl, the math is real simple. Be of service, your self-esteem raises, you feel inspiration flow through you. It doesn't work any other way, Like, when we're out for ourselves, it just doesn't work, especially for alcoholics, right?
Yeah.
Whose very life depends on thinking of others,
Right.
But like, yeah, I know we're getting off on the God topic, and that's fine. But like, Jesus is not, I don't believe, was ever meant to be worshipped. He was a man like us. He was just another embodiment of higher consciousness, right? And he even said, you will do what I do and more, right? Why would we worship somebody that we're going to be doing like more than he's doing, right? Yeah. And we're capable of that. We just don't believe it,
I'll be honest. I never got down with the word worship.
No.
Like, I don't.
We're not supposed to.
This isn't a movie. Like, we're not getting on our knees. Like, I don't. I could be wrong, and this is just my views, but like, I don't think God's some vain person that needs or wants to be worshipped. I don't think we were supposed to worship Jesus. I think Jesus was given to us as a hell of an example of what we should model after and strive for, and everything like that. And it was a good lesson, but I don't even think his name was really that, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it was like Yeshua or something like that. So, like,
one of many. Yeah.
What are we doing here? Come on, we can't even get the name right. That's man touches everything and ruins it.
That's right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel very confident where my relationship is with God, and like, I truly believe my life has never been easier than when I just let Him take the wheel.
That's right.
Every time I try to grab that wheel, some bad shit happens. So
yeah. We don't have to prove ourselves worthy to God. God created us.
Right.
He doesn't see the ego parts of us. That's the crazy part. He just sees the good. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. But that's all God sees, right? And so it's like this shame and guilt that we carry is such an illusion, right? It's literally not even real. Don't even get me started, because I'll.
That's good. So you've talked about how eating is it looks differently for you now. Working out looks a little bit different for you now. Just for anybody that didn't listen to your first episode, if you could paint a quick picture, like back at your worst eating disorder, like what did that look like for you?
Yeah, totally. So, I always struggled with weight as a kid and into high school, and then it was like, then I got on meth, and that did the job for me. And so when I got sober, I think a lot of people struggle with that in the beginning. They gain weight, they start nourishing their body again, probably overnourishing it, and like your body is recalibrating, right? Mm-hmm. So I gained a bunch of weight, and it triggered my eating disorder again, and was binging, purging, restricting, all of the above. And I had so much shame around that, and I was hiding that because I was like, if people know, then they won't. They'll be like, you're too sick, Is
this in sobriety?
Early sobriety.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This was the first year of sobriety. And I remember coming to this place where it was like the jumping off place where I was either going to go back out or I was going to have to get really honest about what was going on with me, right? And so I sit across from my sponsor, and I'm like terrified, right? I'm like, I'm going to tell her the truth, and she's going to be like, you're sicker than most, And she was like, oh yeah, girl, I did too. Yeah. And I was just like, what the fuck? She told me a story. And I'm not going to out her, but for anyone who knows my sponsor knows she's been around a long time. She's like just such a magical human being and beautiful and gorgeous and teeny tiny. And I remember sitting across, and that's what made me even more afraid. Cause I'm like, she's not going to get it. She's like this big around, you know what I mean? And she was like, oh yeah, I used to have Kevin watch, make sure nobody was watching, and I'd dig in the dumpsters and get food out of the cake and shit out of the dumpsters. I was like, in sobriety?
Really?
I was floored. But she just made it so, she just normalized it. And she was like, we're not interested in shame and judgment here, right? We're interested in moving forward. And in order for us to do that, you're going to have to drop some of that judgment. And so she just really normalized it. And it was this journey of like learning how to let people see me and feel safe in that. And so it didn't happen overnight. I definitely like gave some crumbs. And then eventually, I became the woman who can sit here and talk about that with zero shame. Like I literally don't care. You know what I mean? That was my experience. And, but that drove me to the gym. Right. And so I finally, again, it was like, it happened in increments, but I was like, I am not connecting with not treating my body with love. And treating my body with love looked like we need to start fueling it a little bit better, right? Making better choices, moving our body. And so I started to do that. And I remember it started with just walking. And I was like, we're just going to walk every day. And then we'll worry about our diet. But let's get our body moving first. And then I was moving my body. And I was like, wait a minute. I don't want to just like put trash in my body and it be for nothing, you know? So then I got motivated in nutrition. And I come from a home where nutrition was not a thing. You know what I mean? So I had to learn everything myself. And back to the original, in the beginning of the podcast, I said, I confused the fuck out of myself over time. It was like, don't eat this, but eat this, and I made it really complicated, and it worked for a while. I became super disciplined at the gym. I was going to the gym every morning at like 5:30 to 6 a.m. I started seeing you pretty shortly after that. I had been probably a year and a half in at that point, but I got really disciplined, and I'm grateful for that experience. I wouldn't change it for anything. It taught me that I can be disciplined. It boosted my self-esteem. I gained a lot of knowledge, right? And self-respect, and all of those things were great, but it started to once again become punishing, right? Once again, it was a Band-Aid for the real problem, right? Which was that I did not feel okay in my body. I felt like I needed to change it to be worthy, and then I created a lot of food fear, which then created eating disorder came back, but then it was just restriction. So did I answer your question?
Yeah. And then so, man, that's crazy that it's such like a fine edge. You know what I mean? Like we want to do better, and then it can go.
Yeah.
It can take you back there. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was going on.
And not everybody experiences that. You know what I mean? So like if you're listening, I don't want you to think that the journey you're on, there's anything wrong with that. Right. It just started to be wrong for me, and I had to reevaluate what was really going on.
So what does stuff look like for you now? Working out, diet, what does that look like now?
Yeah. So I eat I would say I'm a pretty healthy person. Like it's eating healthy, nourishing things are something that my body craves today. I don't really like crave like going out to eat or eating fast food, and that's okay. But I don't have shame when I do that with friends, right? Or if somebody has a fucking cookie and they're offering people a piece of cake for their birthday or whatever, like I can eat that and not feel bad, But I would shame spiral after that, after eating a piece of cake or a cookie or something like that, and I just don't do that anymore, But yeah, I eat really balanced. I intuitively eat. I eat when I'm hungry. The other thing that I noticed too is when I was training really hard and I was obsessed with like gains and like, all that, I was shoveling food and protein in my body, and my body I had a lot of inflammation. I also had a lot of inflammation from the amount of weight that I was lifting. Women are not all women are built that way to be training the way that I was training all the time, And so it really kind of worked against me towards the end, where I had a major injury. I had so much inflammation in my body that I was puffy all the time. And what I thought was this really great thing for me kind of worked against me. And so now I go to the gym probably 3 or 4 times a week. I do what feels good. I don't train for an hour and a half anymore. I do like 5 or 6 sets of something and I leave. Like I don't, it's just not the same for me anymore. I walk every day. I walk 3 miles in the morning. I'm on my little morning meeting for work. And it's a much more loving experience today. And therefore, it doesn't feel like such a dread to do, you know? I look forward to it.
I'm kind of going through a phase like that right now because my schedule's changed so much, my routines changed so much, my workload's changed so much, and so it's made me morph into that. And so now, like, I'm lucky I get to the gym like 10, 11, 12, not bright and early anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, it definitely affects my day, you know what I mean, where I don't feel as sharp. But now it's like I get in there and it's halfway through the workout, I'm like, you know what I mean? And it's like my fire burns in a very different way. Before, when I worked out and I ran, I did it with something to prove.
Yes.
And then now it's like I still do that stuff where I still have something to prove, but now it's like building this or doing this other stuff. And so now the gym it's something I still do, but I don't get that same dopamine hit that I used to get from it.
Yeah.
But
well, I even think about my motivation a lot of the time in the gym too. Like I had just gone through a breakup. It was definitely like attention seeking. It was being seen, right? But you would have never known that, right? Because I didn't even fucking make eye contact with men, you know? But it's like this, like, just, I'm here. I know I'm being seen, right? That kind of motivation or like neediness, right? Coming from a place of lack. And today it's like, it's an experience going to the gym. Like I look people in the eye, like I engage, I have a good time. When I start feeling fatigued and don't feel like I can go anymore, I fucking leave, you know? Like I just, I do what feels good for my body. My body is much happier, you know? She might not be super fit in tone or whatever, but like I feel good.
Well, you're fucking crushing it. So
Thanks.
Thanks. You're crushing it. Yeah, see, I go back and forth because it's like there's a lot of times where you're not always gonna have motivation, but you can always have discipline.
Totally.
And so there's days where it's like I don't necessarily want to go to the gym, but I do still show up. But
it can look different, right? You don't have to push yourself beyond what you're capable of doing. Because I do want to bring this point up too. Like I think about our ancestors a lot, right? Our ancestors were not eating 3 meals a day and snacks and 10 million grams of protein to survive, right? They were not pushing themselves hard in the gym. They were so in tune with their circadian rhythm, with what their body needed, with rest. And then when they got the energy, they would respond. They would go hunt and they would go, do whatever they needed to do. And so that's kind of where I'm at, is like, how do you really respect what you need rather than this push mentality, right? And I do believe that movement is so important, you know? And so when I don't feel like doing something, it's like, okay, can you go for a walk? Can you go get on the Stairmaster for a little bit, get your heart rate going, right? But does it need to look like spending an hour and a half in the gym, pushing myself when my body's saying you need rest?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Healthy balance.
Healthy balance.
We're not good at it.
Yeah.
What would you say, and I'm sure this is a loaded and hard question, but if you had to boil it down and make it simple for somebody that's listening, a woman, man is listening to this and they feel super insecure about their body. What's the number one key that helped you no longer feel, and I know it's not a cure or anything like that, but what do you think is the biggest thing that helped you become comfortable and confident like you are today?
Yeah. There's a few things, and I wouldn't say by any means have I arrived, right? There's, if we can get real vulnerable in a minute on like what my journey is now, especially being a single woman again, because there's a lot of things that come up, right? But I think the biggest things have been the acknowledgement of what my body has carried me through, right? This respect of like, wow, your body does so much for you and it's carried you through so much pain and joy and trauma and whatever, and just like a deep respect for that. And it's also carrying the light, which makes me who I am, right? Like when someone dies, you look at them and you're like, that does not look like them, because that's not them. The light has left their body and that's no longer, they're just this, their body, they kind of look gross.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
In 2025, why are we still having open casket
Why?
funerals? Why?
It's disturbing as shit.
when I hear people, oh, they look really good. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yes.
Bro, put me in an urn or close the fucking casket. Like, I don't want people to see. I don't want that to be the last. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah. So that, and then nobody is going to come and save you, right? So here's the thing. So many people think that I'll give the example of my last relationship. If I get the man who pours so much love into me, who tells me I'm the sexiest fucking person on this planet, who's constantly telling me I'm beautiful, then I'll be okay, right? And then you have that and you're still fucking insecure, right? Because nobody can do it for you, right? Nobody can do it for you. That is the illusion. There is not a man, not a woman out there that is going to give you the confidence that you need to be okay in your own body, period, right? And so it's looked like a lot of mirror work. It's looked like a deep appreciation for stretch marks and loose skin, like all the things that my body is. Like there's no way around it. Like this is the body that I have, you know? It carried a larger body for a lot of my life. And that's just the reality. And so it's like, how can I start to fall in love with myself and appreciate my body to the best of my ability and therefore then carry that into the relationship where it's like, I don't need you to validate me because I have validated me and appreciate and love me, you know?
Right.
So it's a lot of that, you know? And it's just really is like smashing the delusion that somebody's going to come save me. It's me.
Yeah.
I got to save me. So
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a very, very big one. It's hard for people to understand.
It is. Because I had a man who fucking, swear to God, thought I hung the moon.
Yeah.
You know? And I was actually simultaneously going through this was, I guess, about a year and a half ago, where I was eating 1,000 calories a day, skinny as fuck and miserable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's, you know, you go for a while and, you know, I walk in and, a year and a half ago, I couldn't have a conversation without somebody bringing, oh, you work out. Like it was always where the conversation would immediately go. And now that doesn't really happen anymore. So it's like, fuck, I got to get back in the gym. I got to get that. I get that. But then I look back at that time and like I was big, but like I didn't feel great. Fucking, I was out of breath trying to fucking bend down and tie my shoes and stuff like that. It was hard for me to sit down on the ground and stand back up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So there's, I don't know. It's, again, healthy balance. It's hard to find.
Well, and I just want to throw this out there too. Like, it's so funny because men think, like, I think you look great now.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And what we think men think is attractive is far different than what they actually think is attractive, and vice versa. You know?
Right.
It's so wild.
Right. You know, it's funny. It's funny that you say that. I realized this in adulthood where, yeah, like dudes, we want to be big as fuck. Girls don't. Most girls do not give a shit about that. But who are we trying to be big for?
Right.
Our homeboys and all that
exactly.
shit. And I go back to high school and like I was big on jerseys back then and all that. So that's why I make these now. But here I'm wearing all these throwback jerseys and getting fresh, matching the sneakers up and like that. Girls were into like Abercrombie and Fitch, American Eagle, like that's what they like. But here I need to have this and that. Like at the end of the day, who's I trying to impress?
Totally.
My homeboys are the only ones that notice fucking, oh, he's got this jersey on. Or,
totally.
that shit looks fresh. I like those kicks.
Totally.
Yeah, it's fucking super silly.
And also like a little softness is nice. You know what I mean? Like women don't want to like straight up cut up man. Like most women, I will tell you that.
I mean, is this where we're saying that the dad bods are in style and all that kind of stuff?
I'm not saying like dad bod specifically. I'm just saying like we're not like, oh man, I need a man who's fucking cut up and ripped. You know what I mean? And honestly, like the men and women that are so focused on that, they're super insecure. They don't have a lot of
you guys say that and that sounds good, but if you see a picture of like vintage Brad Pitt with a 6-pack or fucking not Jake Gyllenhaal, who's the other one? Who was in the Barbie movie? That dude.
I don't remember his name. Wait. Channing Tatum? No.
No. He's in the movie Drive.
I know who he is, but yeah, I can't.
Not Jake Gyllenhaal. What the fuck's his name? Anyways, if you guys see a shirtless Jared Leto, fucking someone like that, they're like, oh my God.
So hot, but we don't think that's not the standard for us. That's the difference, right? You see a hot girl or, well, you're married, but you know what I'm saying? Like an attractive person and you're like, man, she's got a great body or whatever. Yeah, they do. Objectively, this person has a great body.
Right.
Is that the standard for the person I want to be with? No. And that's where it gets twisted, right?
For sure.
That doesn't mean it's the standard.
Right.
You know?
For sure.
So
that's how, diet looks for you now, and that's how working out looks for you now. What does your recovery look like today? How's that changed?
Yeah. This is interesting. So because I'm in this like weird space where me and some of my closest friends started a women's DAA meeting. I should. It's fine. Whatever.
You didn't name anybody. You're
yeah,
good.
yeah. We started.
You guys ever want to check out Danielle's DAA meeting? Hit her up.
She came to
women's only
Friday nights. Yeah.
I'm starting a men's group on Mondays.
Let's go. Good. I love that. So excited for you. So I was I was a part of a group for 9 years that was very, very big book. I learned so much from it. I'm so grateful for that experience. But I started to feel this pull of needing to pull back because I also attended that meeting. A lot of, the idea of stepping away was like, who will I be? What will people think? Because I gave myself so much value for being a person who was a part of this group for so long, right? And so I kept feeling the pull to step back, not for anything about the meeting, but it was just an internal pull, similar to like leaving my relationship, right? It was like I didn't really have like a flat reason why. It just was like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so it's been really interesting for me to
they pull this close. They set a fist away.
Is that good?
I think so. They haven't said anything, so we should be good.
Okay, cool.
We good on audio? Thank you, sir.
Okay, cool. So, long story short, I was really prided myself on being somebody who was like Miss 12-step, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have always sponsored a lot of women. I've always been heavily involved on the service structure, on committees, all this stuff. And like, that's great. And I think a lot of us are, it comes from a place of fear,
mm-hmm.
right? Where it's like, and like, look at everything that I do, right? And I'm really in this season of my life where it's like behind the scenes,
mm-hmm.
where I don't need to be the girl, which is interesting because I have a podcast, but that's like, it's different, right? It's different. And so
it's not a 12-step podcast.
Right. Yeah. And so just like behind the scenes where it's like, I've had to work through a lot of the like, this idea of people being like, where's Danielle? Is she okay? She's not involved anymore, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I am. I sponsor a ton of people. I have a women's meeting, but I don't feel the need to be seen on that level anymore,
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
We had there's another woman who's very strong here in the recovery community and here in Austin. And I had a very good conversation with her the one time. And she had stepped away from the 12-step world. And she was gung-ho on all the, what's it called? Not the board, but when you're on like
committees?
You're like on all the committees and you're doing the, when the fucking big meetings come to town every year, she was doing all that stuff.
Conferences.
And, she said that like she was so overloaded with that stuff that she's showing up to group conscious late. Now she's feeling guilty and she's beating herself up. And she was like so burnt out of that stuff where she basically said like, I want to end myself right now because I'm so miserable in this. So I need to take a step back. And she did, and the immediate reaction for everybody was, oh, "Are you okay? What? Yeah. You're gonna relapse." Like she had double-digit years sober, and that's the one thing. And I say it every podcast. I'm not trashing the 12 steps, but it's that mentality that you're allowed to grow.
Yeah,
you're allowed to understand that recovery is a fucking tool. It's a foundation. You can have other tools. That's okay. Continue to build on it. You're gonna evolve. You're gonna change as a person.
Yeah,
you're sober one first year sober, different at 3, different at 5, different at 10, all that stuff. And so that's like the one thing where it's like, they're fucking the head of every board and all this stuff. They need a little bit of time to step away, and now you immediately think they're going to shove a needle in their arm.
Right.
And that's just the one like school or train of thought that I don't get down with. People would look at me and my journey and I'll never forget. I want to say it might be your ex-boyfriend that said it to me too, but I remember being in a meeting and they looked at me and they were like, "Well, you're replacing one addiction for another," And I was just like, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but if you're going to tell me that this thing I found in my life that has put structure, discipline, fucking lit a fire up under my ass, makes me excited to be alive, makes me want to get up out of bed every morning, it's put me around the greatest group of people I've ever met in my life. You're going to tell me that's all bad. I don't know if we can keep having this conversation. Like, you know what I mean? We all find our things.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome to see how you have grown throughout this. You know what I mean? Your core values have always stayed the same, but you've allowed yourself to continue to have grace, but then continue to grow throughout it.
Yeah. It's such a good point. Like this whole process, Bill W. even said this, that AA is a spiritual kindergarten, right? It gives us practical tools that, yes, do these tools keep me from, ultimately like falling asleep and, the drink's closer or whatever. Yes. And like, we have evolved so much on a spiritual plane and just in general as humans, right? The evolution of the structure of AA has not budged. And I understand that there's value in that, but I also think a lot of people are missing the mark and keeping their lives and self really, really small, Yeah. Because you're exactly right. That's a foundation. It's a jumping off place, right? It's the anchor. We come back to it, right? But like my life, and I deal with a lot of women who are like, so afraid to like go outside of the lines. And it's like, what? This is just like church. There's this fear that if I step outside the lines, I'm going to fucking go to hell and burn for centuries. Like, You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, so what's the saying? You either grow or die, right? You either evolve or you're going to get left behind. Like even the church has evolved.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The Catholic Church accepts gay marriage now. I'm pretty sure, I think I heard that, but like they had to evolve with the times. Like, I can appreciate, the old school, the old heads, you know what I mean? This is a closed meeting. It's only alcoholics, but like you'd be hard pressed anymore. I know they're out there, but you're hard pressed anymore to find a strict alcoholic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're all addicts, alcoholics. It's all fucking mental health things. That's why when I started my Thursday meeting, once I started getting out there and speaking outside of the recovery community is when I started realizing we're all recovering from something.
Absolutely.
My story is able to impact more people than just people with drug problems.
Yeah.
Your story, everybody else's story. And so that's why like I made my meeting open meeting.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to have a closed meeting. This is only for addicts.
Yeah.
Because the coolest thing, and it's giving me goosebumps even thinking about it because it happened last night. It happens every meeting. I started this. We've been going on like 21, 22 weeks, right? It's an hour-long meeting. It's never only went an hour. Hour and a half, hour 45. Because people want to still continue to share and keep going, and people stay on. But the coolest shit about it is us addicts or the people that come from the 12-step world, we're so open with our story and our experience and what we talk about. We go on there, we do that, and then it opens the floodgates for everybody else.
Yeah.
And so I'm having people on this meeting who up until that point never thought they had a problem, but now they admit they had a problem, they want to do something about it. People that have found sobriety, people that have lost a ton of weight, people that have dealt with serious health consequences. Like all this struggle is very similar in a lot of ways. And I think I would love to see, hopefully one day, you know what I mean? Like, because now you see so much of a focus on working out, on meditating, on breath work, on this other stuff. And you hear the program kind of talked about less and less. And I also think in a way the treatment industry is the treatment industry for me soured my taste on recovery and the program for a long time because I associated the two together. You know what I mean? A lot of the places, a lot of the facilities, you're selling something that's being given away for free here every day.
Yeah.
You can go to a free meeting whenever you want.
Yep.
So I think it's that kind of stuff that's jaded me towards it. But all I know is I focus on helping people. Good shit happens. We're going to keep riding with it.
Yeah, and I think I see a lot of people stuck in like, so maybe they do all their disciplines and they're hardcore, whatever, but they do not have an intimate relationship with their self. You know?
Yeah.
It's very much, what's the word I'm looking for? Like compliance based, right? You're not having an experience with this, so what's the fucking point? You know? Like if you're like, I miss my nightly, are you having an experience when you're actually doing the nightly? Then you might as well not be doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the point is to be having an experience with yourself, right? And so God is funny because I always get women who are like needing a deeper experience, you know, they find me. And that's how my sponsor is. Like the women that she sponsors are people who are like ready to go deep, you know? And so, yeah, people don't come to me that are just wanting like a surface level experience. They're like ready to go deeper.
Right. I feel that's very much what the Thursday meeting has become, for it's like people that want more.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily I think at first, yeah, your goal should be to get sober, but that shouldn't be the ultimate goal.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't stop there.
It says so we can live.
Right.
Right.
I think you go to the program, you get a sponsor, and they give you some training wheels, and they say, here, start doing nightlies, fucking get a service commitment. They're giving you the training wheels.
Yep.
It's on you to take that shit and run with it.
Totally.
If you're still at year 10 or whatever like that, and like that is your entire world, or that is your life, it's just your identity is that big book, and I know it front to back, and I got 30 sponsees. Like, if you're living a happy, healthy life and you're sober, cool.
Yeah.
I just want more.
I want more. And that brings up such a good point, because that's something I've had to really use discernment with on my journey, is that I have to stop trying to wake people up, right? And realize that the people that are supposed to wake up will find me, right? Like, because I would be like, but you, look how great this is, you know? And it was just like, I kept like unintentionally pushing these concepts and ideas on people with good intention, and it would repel people, or, you know, and so not every soul is supposed to wake up in this lifetime. And that's a hard thing for me to accept, because I'm like, why wouldn't you? And the reality is, this is just my belief, that there are many lifetimes where I did not wake up, and it served a purpose, right? And in this lifetime, I'm here to wake the fuck up, and I'm here to wake up the collective conscious, like without question, right? So are you.
Yeah.
And not everybody is supposed to in this lifetime. And so how do I learn to live in balance with that and respect that and not judge that, right? But just be the light and attract the people that are supposed to.
There's so much. Every time we talked, we were always so parallel and aligned.
Yes.
Because there was a tremendous amount of anxiety I went through, still go through when I started doing all these things that I'm doing, because a lot of it is based on, are people going to show up?
Sure.
Are people going to listen to the podcast? Are people going to listen or come when I have the runs on Saturday? Are people going to show up to the Thursday meeting? And when I very first started doing it, it was just like, I need people. You know what I mean? I want to get anybody. Yeah. I want to have big, huge groups. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm living this grandiose thing. And it was funny. It really sank into me when we just had the 100th episode weekend a couple weekends ago, and it was the first live show, and I looked out at the crowd, and the room was full. It wasn't a huge crowd, but the room was full, and I looked around, and I was like, man, like everybody that's supposed to be here is here, and I need to stop focusing on getting everybody, and I need to start pouring into these people. I need to pour into the people that show up. It's about to make me cry, really.
Yes.
The people that get on my Thursday meeting. There's only 20 people in this meeting, and I'm sitting here the first 15 minutes of the meeting like, fuck, man, I need to get 30, 40, 50 people, instead of taking that time to pour into the people that showed up to the fucking meeting. And it's a lesson that I had learned before, because when I started training people, and we would go out to treatment centers, and you go out to a big treatment center, there's 30 men and women out there or whatever, and I'm trying to train 30 people at this big group workout. And I quickly started realizing that all my time was getting wasted by the 20 people that didn't give a shit about working out. And so I'm over here telling them, stop, don't do that, don't say that, whatever. And I'm ignoring the 10 people over here that really want it and really get it. And so it's like, that was a lesson that I needed to keep learning. And now it's like, this is what it's supposed to be. The people who need this or that are supposed to be a part of this are going to find it.
Yes.
I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, put my faith in God.
That's right.
And I don't know, there's been more, I don't know if it's me getting older, the stage of life I'm at, but I've learned more about myself, you know what I mean, my journey, like all that kind of stuff in this past couple of years than I ever have.
But I think it's because you're challenged in all of these experiences to face yourself in ways that you wouldn't have otherwise. Hello, I lost my words. Otherwise. I was like, what word is she trying to think of? And like having the awareness of like, oh wow, I'm really wanting like a lot of people to show up. Why? Right? Because what does it say about me if a lot of people don't show up? Right? And really being someone who's awake and aware to my thought life and being able to step back and reevaluate what's actually important to me, right? What actually fills my cup. Like, a lot of people aren't doing that. Most people in the world aren't doing that, right? I think we're so surrounded by awakened people that we think the rest of the world is like that, or that more people are like that than not. And it's so not true.
Right.
It's so not true,
Right.
you know? But it makes sense to me that this experience has gotten you more connected to yourself on an intimate level, because you're moving through fear and challenging those fear experiences,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And saying, in the face of fear, I'm going to continue, you know? There's nothing more beautiful than that. There's nothing that makes a person more beautiful and valuable and authentic and genuine than walking through experiences like that, you know?
Hell yeah.
Being able to like be like, I'm fucking terrified and I'm gonna keep doing it. I feel rejected and I'm gonna keep doing it. I feel abandoned and I'm gonna keep doing it. You know?
I was saying this a lot to people, and it was just like some little funny thing I was saying. And I would always be like, yep, the only difference between us and them is we don't quit. And I would say that. And I was saying it almost like, not being facetious, like talking a little shit or whatever like that. But that is one thing I've profoundly learned about myself, is I'm willing to continue and pushing on far past what other people are.
Yep.
And people look at the podcast or social media or anything I'm doing, literally the only difference between me and anybody else doing this is I didn't quit.
Yep.
And look at the amount of people that start podcasts, they don't ever get past episode 3.
Yep.
So as soon as you told me you were doing one, I'm like, all right, how can I help? Let's go.
Yeah.
You
Resilience.
Your voice needs to be out there. You need to be doing. Your voice is one that definitely. I know you don't want to be seen, like you were saying. You don't need to be seen like
in
that.
this
like,
era of my life,
right?
Right. I do believe that I will come out in a really big healed way.
Yeah.
But that's just my era. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. But you need to be heard.
Yeah.
For sure. Your voice, your energy, the stuff you say, people need that. But
Thank you.
yeah, it's just all about not quitting.
It is, yeah.
At the gym, I got good at the gym because I didn't quit. I sucked when I went in. First time I ran, I wondered what the fuck I was doing. Why did I just run this 2 miles? Give me my Newport cigarettes and fucking let me be. But I didn't quit, and I kept going, and then look what happened.
Yeah. You have to be willing to like feel stupid and feel all of the things, you know? I remember the first time I decided I had just upgraded from Planet Fitness to Gold's Gym.
I remember that. I remember.
You remember
this?
And I had never used a free squat rack. Did I tell you about this? And I was like, fuck it. And it was the new location on South Congress. No. I don't remember where it was, but it was one where it's like you're on broadcast on where the squat racks are. Like everybody can see you.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to throw this thing on my back and see what happens. And it like wobbled. And then I just was like, fuck it. All right, let's see if we can do a squat.
Right.
And I just was willing to do that, you know? And that's what's been coming up with me with this podcast thing is like, I think I told you this on the phone the other day, that the biggest learning curve for me, or like when this thing was launching, I panicked. I was like, wait. Do I really want to do this? Fuck that, you know? And it's because there's this part of me that still feels afraid to take up space, right? That feels like promoting yourself is, right? Fill in the blank. Makes you, people will think you're full of yourself. People will think you care, you know, all the things, right? And it's like, what? That's the craziest shit I have ever I would never feel that way. I never felt that way about you. I never felt that way about anybody who was like putting themselves out there. Like, how fucking cool. It's really easy for people to judge on the sidelines who are not doing anything to push themselves outside of fear. Right. Right?
Yeah.
It's easy for them to be like, okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with a dude that's big in the social media world, and I was trying to, I try to soak up knowledge with anybody I talk to, and especially something I'm interested in, like when I want to be good at it. Yeah. And so I'm trying to ask him, you know, what'd you do here? What'd you do here? And I remember he told me, he was like, he goes, you really need to be putting more focus on your personal page. Leave the I Am Redemption one alone. You need to focus on your personal one. I was like, why? And he was like, well, that's where you're going to get this, this, and this. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that personal page. Like, I'm not doing this for me. If I was doing it for me, this shit would not be going the way it is. I know, I can tell you that much. I was like, but I just always try to community. Like, I'll make it more about I Am Redemption or what I'm trying to build than ever. ever me. But you know, I've watched, how do I say this? I've watched people on similar trajectories, we'll say, right? They're getting going in social media, whatever they're doing, and I watched them take a direction where it's them showcasing themselves. It's all about them. It's hinged on them. I never wanted to do that. I understand I'm the face of I Am Redemption, but I don't ever want to make it about me. And I've watched, and I think the more people like that, they're like kind of alone. You know what I mean? Like, I have a whole fucking community of fucking people.
Right.
I have a whole bunch of people that fucking fly in for this shit. Like, they fucking love me. I love them. I know them intimately. Like, that's what I wanted out of this. I didn't ever want to do this shit by myself. You know what I mean?
Well, and I
do
didn't
it.
ever get that vibe from you.
Right.
I never, ever got that vibe from you. You are definitely a gatherer. That is just who you are, you know?
So I'm not a hunter. I'm a gatherer.
You're a gatherer.
Oh, shit. I don't know if I'm in touch with my feminine self enough to be okay with being a gatherer and not a hunter, but we'll work towards it. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, that's a good buddy of mine, Creechy, told me that, and it was a really good compliment from him. And he's like, bro, you're so good at bringing people together and all that shit.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that's truly what fucking... We had a guy, he's coming into town this evening. We're doing a high rocks competition together. But he came to the Redemption weekend and brought his son. And his son was like one of the fucking highlights. It was one of the coolest little kids ever. And they came together, and he told me this story, and it brings me to tears. And he was like, yeah, we were just, we had a run for Kaylee, the girl with Down syndrome that I was trying to raise money for. And we go do this run. And so I told everybody it was a 5-mile run. Turned out it was a 6-mile run. Whoops. But a lot of these people had never run that far before or anything like that. And so I think the most they had run was like a mile. And they were out there, and the sun was like, they went past the mile. They might have got to like mile 3 or whatever. And the sun he's like, Dad, I need to like rest or whatever. He's like, all right, do you want to turn back? You know, this and that. He goes, no, I just enjoy being out here with you. And I was like, oh, and he come back and he told me that. And it's like, man, for just him to have that moment with his son, again, it's going to make me cry. Yeah. That right there, more than any fucking amount of comments or something going viral, I don't give a fuck about that. That right there is what I care about. Like that making an impact like that. If I can bring people together and somebody get a little, it didn't have to come from me. But if I could just bring people together and them have moments like that is the fucking shit.
Well, what I really appreciate about you too is that you have been able to like navigate when the human parts do come up, right? Because we are all human, and we are not going to escape that part of us that says, wait, why aren't this many people following me yet? Why aren't, like, I know that you experienced that along the journey at moments, right? How did you, and now I'm asking you questions,
Please.
But how did you navigate or come back to your purpose in those? Did you feel the anxiety that would build around like focusing your attention on not the purpose, but like building? Does that make sense?
Yeah. It may sound cliche when I start this off, but it was God doing all of this. For whatever reason, I intuitively knew which direction to go. It seemed like whatever I was putting my focus on seemed to be the smart play for whatever reason. And I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I always knew what the goal was, but I understand what it like would take to get to that goal. And so like, I don't give a fuck about social media. Like but I do know enough about in this game that Instagram is my business card, and I need to have a certain amount of followers to be looked at as a legitimate show, and for people to want to travel to come on or get bigger guests and all that stuff. So it was a necessary evil what I had to do. Then I think I tapped into I just don't quit. And so if this means for the next 6 months or a year, I'll be up at 2 a.m. on fucking Instagram for 8 hours straight and figuring out how to edit videos and reply to every fucking comment that comes across one of my posts. And you know what I mean? It's a very, very different thing of managing a social media or having a social media and growing a social media. Very, very different. And so I think I was just always, like you were saying earlier, trusting my intuition and what direction it was going and knowing. And I was very lucky because there's a lot of people along the way that would, and I think it's God at the end of the day chiming in, because the one constant message I would constantly get is keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. And, you know, I think it was also a very good lesson in like delayed gratification. You know what I mean? All that stuff.
Trust.
Yeah.
Just trusting.
And so I'm very, very, when 10,000 followers was always my goal. That's what I felt like I needed to hit to be like a legitimate podcast for whatever reason. And I've watched as a lot of other podcasts and all that went out and bought followers or bought engagement, and they got that number real quick and all that shit, and cool, good for them. But I remember when I hit 10K, and I remember how fucking good that shit felt. That I fucking did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, it's a number on a fucking app. Does it matter? No. But I did that shit, and I built that shit.
Yeah. But it does matter, because it's not the number. It's
Right.
that you persisted. It's that you stayed true to yourself. It's that you didn't need to buy followers, and and that's fine, right? But that's kind of how I felt on this like body journey too, right? Because it's like, how easy it is to go fucking buy Ozempic or a shot and be skinny if that's what I think I want. But there was something in me that was always like, no, we're not doing that, because that's just not your journey. That's not your path. Like, you're sticking with it. Like, you're going to learn how to love yourself without fixing the outside, like in a real way, you know?
Yep.
So
I remember having the distinct thought too, where it was like, damn, I remember how good I felt when I got the 10K and I'd accomplished this. And to be honest, I think the way I'm programmed is a gift and a curse. I don't ever take a step back to like ever contemplate or respect what I've accomplished, because as soon as I get it, it's like, all right, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? But I did take a little moment at 10K, and I did a little post about it and all that. But I remember I was like, damn, like anybody who went the other route, they never got to feel this. They never got to feel what it feels like, the ascension going up, or, you know what I mean? What it feels like people, I got 10,000, around 10,000 followers, but I know when I do something, people are going to show up. You bought all your followers, go ahead and throw an event. See how many people show up.
Right.
Like,
you have built community.
Right. So I couldn't be more proud of it.
I'm proud of you.
So tell me about the podcast. What initially got you started it? What's it about?
Yeah.
And when am I coming on?
Yep. Yeah, you are. You're coming on next week or something, right?
Do we lock it in?
We locked it in, I think.
All right. If it's on my calendar,
Yeah,
I'm there.
we'll figure it out.
All right.
Anyways, so I've gotten visions and downloads about this bigger dream, or purpose, I should say, in snippets throughout the last few years, and but I haven't really known like how it was all going to come to fruition, and after this, like this last breakup, like I started to really dig deep and get quiet, and I was getting these downloads like, you need to start a podcast, because ultimately, like, I want to create like a life coaching business that's that just helps a lot of people, not just people in recovery. Like, it helps people figure out how to get from point A to point B, gain self-esteem, self-respect, like, and spirituality, the journey home, right? The journey home, and how hard that can feel at moments. And so that's like ultimately like what I want. I want to hold retreats. I want to create spaces for people to come heal, and be.
We need to talk after
this. Yes. Like, where people can, we can sit in communion with each other, and witness each other in the pain and the joy and the glory and all of the things, right? I'm a space holder, right? I too am a gatherer, but I'm a space holder. That's what I do. And so I got the download where it was like, you need to start with the podcast. And I was like, really? Podcast? Like that wasn't ever something that I was like, oh, I want to do that, but it kept nagging me, and I was like, okay. And then at first I said that to my best friend. She's like, we should do one together. And I was like, yeah, totally. Right. And as I got quiet, it was very apparent. It was like, no, this is your journey. Like, you need to step out on your own and walk through the fear. Right. She would be a crutch for you. It would feel like safer, you know?
Yep.
So I didn't really know shit about starting a podcast. I still really don't. But I just remember one of my friends and my sponsor was like, you need to buy the equipment. Like, you're sitting on this and you're not taking any action. I was like, okay, I'll buy the equipment. So I make this big purchase. And then that day, one of my best friends was at her client's house who had podcast equipment out. And she was like, oh my gosh, my best friend wants to start a podcast. And so she linked us up, and I had no intention of working under any kind of network or with anybody at all. I was just going to like makeshift it and figure out how to do it. But I said, you know what? I'll go to lunch with these people. I'll learn something probably, make connections with these people, really great women. And I tell them kind of my vision and what I want to do. And they were like, you're amazing. You are going to do great things. And essentially, decided to move in that direction with them. And it all just kind of like fell into place. And so yeah, like my job is just to record and schedule and record and then promote.
Yeah.
I do everything else. And so it's such an amazing starting point. But the podcast is essentially like I'm a very deep person. I've had a very beautiful and painful journey, as have most of us, right? And so it really is just a space for people to be vulnerable and talk about their walk home to themselves, right? And all the ways that we get there through different spirituality, modalities, I don't care, right? But it is community, right? It's like how, like you hear how other people did it and you hear that it's possible and then you have hope, right? And so it's essentially like just a broader podcast of what you're doing. It's just not so recovery focused, I guess. But yours isn't really anymore either, though. Yeah.
No, it's good for the algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it really is just about the journey, walking home to ourselves, right? Our true.
I don't want that to be taken out of context, but like the key, like the word recovery is a key word when you use it in like your SEO or like all that
Makes
kind
sense.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And so where I see people make a lot of, I'm by no means an expert, but I have walked this road for a little bit, where people look at like, people don't understand like Instagram is a signal. You send signals.
Yeah.
And if I'm posting about recovery and fitness and running, it puts me in those signals.
Yep.
Now, if I'm posting about fucking movies and then music and then fucking this, it doesn't know where to put you. So it just kind of like fizzles out. And so like, yeah, I don't have a recovery podcast, but you'll see like on my Instagram profile, it says recovery. Obviously, it's something we talk about. It's not the main focus because we're all recovering from something, but
exactly.
That's what I mean by it's like good for the algorithm. So please don't think I'm slighting recovery in any way.
No, totally. And recovery is such a broad term, especially for what you're doing, Yeah.
So what's it called? Where can people find it?
Connection.
Okay.
So Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, a few others that I don't know. But
mine's like that too.
Yeah. Like just some random ones. I'm like, do people even listen to these? Doubtful. But so yeah, those are the main platforms. I'm working towards a YouTube presence. Very different experience.
Yeah.
So I'll need some help with that.
It is.
Any insight you have?
I'm getting ready to start building out the YouTube stuff too, so we can learn together. But I got some good people that I think we could tap into.
Nice.
So I remember I'd asked you this at the first episode, but I have to ask you again. Hypothetically speaking, you're walking out for the UFC tonight and you're gonna fight. What's the walkout song?
I feel like it's still the same.
Is it really?
I feel like it's still the same.
Really,
yeah.
the same. What was the song?
I'm a Badass Woman.
Let's go.
By Meghan Trainor.
Okay. What kind of music?
It's like pop, but it's just a vibe. Like I listen to that and I'm like, I am her.
Yeah.
Like I am her, and I don't mean I'm Meghan Trainor, but I am what she is saying.
Yeah.
So
is that like so there's like a lot of athletes that'll say I am him, meaning like I'm that dude. Is that what you're meaning when I say I am her?
I am the version of myself that I always dreamed of being.
Oh.
Like that, who genuinely loves herself, who's confident, who I just think I'm magical, I think I'm somebody who's worked really hard to learn to love herself and to be vulnerable and authentic and, I am her.
You are her, trust me.
What would yours be? And has it changed?
My song? Oh yeah, it changes on the daily. What's my song right now? I'm trying to think what's come out recently that's hit my I'm gonna say Freddie Gibbs. It's a song called "1,000 Mountains." I like cocky rap. I like dudes that are like talking that shit and all that stuff because that's what gets me in my mode.
Yeah.
And I think I know obviously ego and everything like that is a dangerous thing for us, but
we also can have fun.
you also can psych yourself up. And,
Yes.
and I don't think there's anything wrong when you've accomplished something of taking a look in the mirror and be like, I'm a bad motherfucker. Because
I think that it's toxic if you don't. I'm sorry, but that's part of that's whole part of this playing small thing. Like, why wouldn't you celebrate you're an extension of God. You're fucking amazing. What do you mean?
Right.
You know?
Right. I think I don't want people. I don't know why I care if people would take it out of context, but like, I don't know. I'm so excited to be at a point in my life where I'm proud of some shit that I fucking built and all that. And there's some things I can look around and I know how hard I've worked towards it. And like, I'm a bad motherfucker when it comes to that.
Give me a fucking.
You want to fucking edit it? I'll put my Instagram reels up against anybody.
That's right.
But yeah, I think it's a cool place to be, and I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited for you too.
We talked about it on the phone, but like we are in such a cool, unique time with the ability, all the tools and resources we have now with social media or podcasting. I'm interested to see. Podcasting's here now, but there's going to be another evolution.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like I'm podcasting now. What if I would have started back 10 years ago or whatever when it started? You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see what the next iteration of it is and to see if that's like a train I want to get on.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we continue to move to the future, I don't know, go watch Black Mirror or any of that kind of stuff. Like, your people find you. Like, everybody has the ability now to have their own channel.
Yeah.
Right? And people don't always want to watch all this other shit. And so the people that need to hear that message, they find you.
Yeah.
Those people find me.
Yep.
And so if you have any of that experience that's helping people or you have any of that abilities and you're not using it to help other people, like, why did we go through all this adversity? Why did we go through all this shit if we're not using it to help other people?
It's wasted. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The pain was for nothing.
100%. Danielle, I could sit here and talk to you all fucking day. I fucking love you. I'm so proud of you.
Proud of you.
We're going to do some... I've had about 16 ideas since we've been sitting here, so I can't wait to get off here and tell you about them all.
Yes.
But before we wrap up, if you